All right, I believe we are recording, so we should be good to go here. Awesome. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us here today. I'm Colin Farmer, VP of Business Momentum here at Century 21, and I'm joined by one of my BFFs, Mr. Jason Polanco from Redfin. Jason and I have been working, oh, wow, it's probably about a year and a half now, I guess, right? Time flies when we're having fun.
Yeah.
We connected back up, and I want to say the summertime of 2020. There was a really interesting article in Inman talking about various referral programs that were out there. And as everyone remembers, back in the summer of 2020, no one was going to any sort of business conferences, right? So it was speaking to the importance of these referral portals. And they talked about really the big three. And the one we're chatting about here today is Redfin. So anyway, really cool article in Inman. Think you may be able to see the link to it if I share it here in the chat, which I'll do here in a little bit. But essentially talked about the importance of referral platforms in a pandemic situation where you can't get out there and network. So Jason and I connected up. Essentially, they had a lot of referrals and they needed agents to work them. And I'm like, hey, Century 21's got a lot of agents and we're in a lot of really unique areas. So it made a lot of sense to partner together on that. And, you know, when we started this relationship again about a year and a half ago, there were approximately 100 or so, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, I think 100, 120 agents from Century 21 who were just part of the Redfin Partners program. And I want to say we're, you know, significantly over 500 so far here in April of 2022. And we had, I want to say, roughly 9,000 or so referrals back in the day on a rolling 12-month time period. And we're, I think, approaching close to 18,500 or 19,000 from the relationships that we've been able to put into place. But very excited about the Redfin Partners program. They are expanding, which is why we're having this call and why you were invited to this call today. So here we go. Let's talk shop. Jason, how did I do in terms of setting this thing up?
Yeah, you're pretty much spot on. Yep,
we've done this a few times.
Yeah, we've done this a few times, and we definitely have, you know, tens of thousands of leads that we're sending over to Century 21 agents overall in markets throughout the United States. And like you said, you know, one of the best things is that we have agents who are actually closing transactions, whether that is in a small to mid market or in one of our core large markets. So yeah, it's a program overall that has worked very, very well for agents, whether they have 5 deals or they've closed 20 deals in the last 12 months. They're doing pretty well in the program overall.
Love it. And it's scenarios where you're finding agents who are not necessarily in markets where you don't have Redfin agents, right? You have scenarios like where you are in Chicago, always a great story. How many hundreds of Redfin agents do you have?
We probably have currently, I'd say maybe around 250 Redfin employee agents, and we have well over 700 partner agents in the greater Chicagoland area.
Speaks to just the number of sheer referrals that are coming through, right? And then in other markets where you don't have Redfin agents, that's basically nothing but partner agents in those situations.
That is correct. All of the lead flow will go over to our partners and they'll get connected with customers. And when we talk about lead volume, we're usually in excess of 12,000 leads being sent per week nationwide to all of our active partner agents throughout the United States. And that all just comes down to our website customer volume. We'll receive well in excess of 50 million clicks to our website on a monthly basis of customers looking for service.
Love it. One thing that a lot of brokers kind of will pop out and be like, hey, you know, Redfin's a competitor, especially in a market like Chicago where you have Redfin employee agents. I'm like, yeah, they are a competitor in these marketplaces, but not for nothing. They have a lot of referrals and they need other agents to work these opportunities. So one of the things that we put into the agreement, just to appease the brokers on the call here today, we do have a non-solicitation agreement with Redfin. And I think that's the only one in terms of an industry collaboration that you have that relationship with, Jason. And essentially the scenario reads where if you have an agent who's part of the Redfin Partners program, they're not going to be receiving those recruiting emails from the Redfin, I guess, HR department, or the marketing department. But if there's a Century 21 agent who works for your company who's not part of the partners program, then it could be game on. All right. So this is just for partner program agents that we've put the non-solicitation agreement in. And it's working like a charm so far, if I'm not mistaken, Jason. I think we're looking good.
Yeah, we really haven't had many issues where that has popped up. One of the things that I always like to emphasize to broker owners and, real directors and anyone who's working with agents very closely is the vast majority of the time when we see agent attrition, it's going to be in the opposite direction. We see a lot of Redfin employee agents moving over to brokerages like Century 21, not the other way around. Our compensation model is completely different for Redfin. All of our agents are employees, W-2. That's a much different world than being a 1099 independent contractor. And just from a revenue perspective, a lot of agents tend to stay at the brokerages that they're at because they like where they are and they actually prefer being a partner rather than being an employee agent somewhere else.
Hey, it works for us.
It works. It works very, very well. And we enjoy the relationship that we have with all the Century 21 offices. And for the most part, like I said, they are all enjoying their time in the program. And I think a big testament to Colin and I having brought on so many agents and the success of the program overall is, we have to remember, this was in the peak of the pandemic. We started this and we have had fantastic results. So even in a very, very tumultuous market, we have had very, very good results of Century 21 agents converting that business into actually closed deals.
Hey, I know there'll probably be a question on this later, so I'll jump into it now. But partner agents, when an opportunity comes in maybe a market where you do have Redfin salaried agents, how do those leads get put out there? Is it a scenario where the partner agents kind of get the leftovers, the smaller sales volume? What's the scoop on that?
So that's a great question. I get this question quite frequently from a lot of broker owners, and the easiest answer is no. We don't send over just the junk that we don't want. We send over high quality customers that in pretty much almost any scenario we would have served. It's just we don't have enough Redfin employee agents to take on that business. A lot of people don't understand that the way that our business model works with our employee agents is once they receive plus minus 10 leads per month, we cut them off from receiving any net new business. That is not a lot when you have thousands of customers requesting service in a 10-mile radius. So whenever we have our Redfin employee agents that are too busy, the website will automatically shift and start showing only partner agents. So that business will start going over to partners, whether that be a $250,000 property or a $2 million property. We don't really dictate from a micro level and saying, oh, this is an $800,000 property. We need to send it to a Redfin employee agent, not to a partner. The complete opposite. If that Redfin employee agent is too busy, we want to get them connected with a partner agent, the customer that is, with a partner agent as quickly as possible. And we want to make sure that that customer is served, no matter if it's with a Redfin employee or with one of our partners. And that's why a lot of our partners enjoy the program overall, because they get that good mix up. They get customers looking in the 400s and customers looking in the 900s. We don't really dictate or inhibit them from closing any type of deal.
Mm-hmm. And also you buyers as well as selling opportunities, correct?
That is correct. Yep. The nature of the beast is, we're an online platform. So a lot of the customer basis is going to be on that buy side, which I know I always get that complaint lately because of how crazy the market is. Hey, send me some seller leads. And, you'd be surprised. We still have, even in this crazy market, we have agents closing 10, 12, 15 deals for us in a year from the buy side leads that we're sending. And it allows them to grow their pipeline of customers. That Redfin agent is going to be paying for that customer that's connected to them, not for their cousin 2 states away that customer ended up referring them to. So yeah, it's great, in terms of that overall business and growing your pipeline. And that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people enjoy about the program overall is, we're going to consistently keep on sending you both types of leads. And a lot of times a buy side lead will come in and it ends up being a sell side lead because that customer has a property to sell.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So for those who are watching the screen here, you probably, if you don't have our email addresses down pat and committed to memory by now, there's no hope for you. So let me go to the next slide. And we talked a lot about the various benefits so far from an agent perspective. Any additional ones there, Jason, that you would want to comment on?
One of the things is just like I said, is pipeline generation. This program is great, like I said, for an agent who has 5 deals or an agent who has 15 deals. It's really just respective to communication. If an agent is quick, and we know the saying of speed to lead. If that customer reaches out and that agent can get back to them within 5 or 10 minutes, they're beating out 90% of the agents in the industry right now. And that is really what in our data set has shown to really convert that business at a much higher level. And that's what our partners do well. And that's why when a lot of these surveys come back, they're telling us, hey, we really loved and enjoyed working with that partner agent, because to the customer, they don't really care if it's going to be a Redfin employee agent or a partner agent. Really what they're looking for is service, and they want that person who has that expertise in that market. And one of the things that I always tell partners and partner brokerages who participate, our Redfin employee agents are great, but you also have to remember that they have a very large territory that they are serving. Sometimes it is 1 hour radius of regions that they are serving, compared to a partner agent who is a subject matter expert in a 2-mile radius. And they say, hey, I've closed 25 deals in the last 6 months in this region. And that customer really loves that attention to detail and that expertise in that market, especially if they're going to sell or if they're looking to purchase in a very, very specific region. That partner agent is usually going to be that subject matter expert.
Right. There's another component that I want to bring up here too. A lot of folks they when they're working with a Redfin agents, there's certain benefits that they would get with working with a Redfin agent. I don't remember the numbers offhand. Is it a 1.5% commission, something like that?
Yeah, so the listing percentage will vary. It ranges anywhere from 1 to 1.5%, depending on the market. But the way we change that is actually if they buy and sell, or sell and buy with Redfin. So they have to do both. And I get this question very, very frequently where a broker or an agent will say, hey, I want to participate with you guys, but I can't charge 1% on a listing. There's no way. And my response is always very simple. You don't have to. We don't require any partner agent to match any incentivized pricing in terms of refunds or listing percentage that we offer. And the next rebuttal question by the agent or the broker is, why would anybody ever then work with us if we're not able to offer that incentivized pricing? And for lack of a better phrase, the proof is in the pudding. We have agents who close hundreds of deals for us in their entirety of working in the program, and they charge whatever their listing percentage is, 2.5%, 3%. They don't give a buyer refund. So that's not really a hurdle that we have seen with the thousands of customers that we have helped close properties with partner agents. So you don't have to worry about any incentivized pricing at all.
And I also like how, Redfin, when it's transitioning, or when you're talking to a customer, you're saying, hey, you're going to be transferred over to a Redfin partners agent. You guys basically set the table to let them know that it's, not the 1.5% or the buyer rebate. So you're taking the heat for it, for lack of a better term. And it's not the partner agent who has to basically say, no, 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 you're not getting any of that, right?
That is a fantastic point. When we send the connection email to customers, we let them know right at the connection point when they've requested to work with an agent that agent hangs their license with Century 21. They are not a Redfin employee agent, and that they cannot offer any incentivized pricing. So it's clearly transparent at that point. So if a customer does have an issue and they indicate, hey, I really wanted to work with a Redfin agent, our team will get involved. And like you said, we'll look like the bad guy and we'll say, hey, unfortunately, you can't get any of the incentivized pricing. Are you still interested in working with that partner agent? 99% of the time, the customer will say, yeah, I just want an agent who's going to be able to help. And, that's important, because we don't want the agents to look like the bad guy or girl in the scenario where they're going to have to tell that customer. We just want to make sure that relationship sets off right. And we let that customer know immediately that they're going to be connected to a Century 21 agent and that they're going to be able to help throughout the process.
Love it. So we talked a lot about the agents. Now I'm going to change gears and go over to the brokerage side of the house. And I don't want to skip to the last bullet here, but it is my favorite part. This is a program where you don't have to pay for whatever thousands of dollars a month for zip code coverage, and you get what you get. This is literally a pay at close with a 30% referral fee. Oh, near and dear to my heart, Jason. So thank you for that. But what else do we have here in terms of the benefits to the brokerage side of the house?
Yeah, so when it comes to agent eligibility, it's pretty straightforward. As long as they have 5 closed deals in the last 12 months, they're eligible to participate, and we can get them started in the program, no problem, as long as there's availability in that region, obviously. The value add from a broker perspective or from a reload perspective is giving agents opportunities. We have been in a very, very bull market in terms of real estate, and you could pretty much just throw a stone and try and sell a house if you're competing, against 30 people. But, we are going into most likely going to be a little bit slower of a market, a little bit tougher of a market. And that's where you can really shine as a broker owner, as a reload director, and say, hey, we're going to keep on sending opportunities your way. We're going to partner with Redfin. We're going to get some stuff into your pipeline, because some of the newer agents may have a difficulty of that if they don't have an active pipeline and they're not good at farming or prospecting for customers. So this is a great value add from that perspective, and you look like champion. That's really what we want. Once the brokerage is live, we'll immediately start sending those leads as they come in via the customer demand. And like I said, we have brokers participating in Jackson, Mississippi, and we have brokers participating in Orlando, Florida, and they're both doing exceptionally well. So, don't be worried if you're in a smaller market that this may not be a great thing for you, because sometimes our smaller markets actually outperform some of our larger areas in a lot of scenarios, because, we're capturing a lot of that lead flow and sending it over to the agents who are proficient in that region.
You'll like this, Jason. Right before this call, I was talking with a broker in Deep Woods, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I'm from Connecticut, and I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum where we have way too many people. But one of the things that we were chatting about were referral programs. And I asked her, I'm like, hey, are you familiar with the Redfin Partners program? She's like, yeah, we love it. And literally, when I say Deep Woods, Connecticut, I mean, I'm like, you guys have houses out there? That's how rural this area is. So yeah, they love it. So great program there. Let's talk about next steps, because that's always something that's good to get into a little bit more in detail. So we actually have kind of 2 unique ways that you can sign your agents up, and what Jason was mentioning before on making you look like the hero within your firm, to say, hey, me, the broker, am bringing you these opportunities or this group of opportunities. So you want to make sure that you pick the right agents for this. Great for retention, by the way, right, guys? So when you have kind of the group of agents that you're interested in introducing to the Redfin Partners program, you got 2 options. There's a link up on 21 Online. In fact, there's a whole landing page. You'll see it there on the screen that you could click on. That'll give you all sorts of details about the program. In fact, I think we have a recording similar to this up there if you want to regroup on it. Talks about the program, but there's again 2 scenarios in terms of next steps. There's a link that you could take and send to your agents as a special Century 21 application link. Jason, I love your scenario here where you're talking about priority boarding, and we'll get into that here in just a second. But the other scenario is you could gather your agent's information. Basically, there's an Excel spreadsheet up on 21 Online. It looks for literally just agent first name, agent last name, agent email address. There's directions on who to send it to. Basically sending it to me and Jason. And then Jason sends out that invitation link that you see on your screen here. But Jason, talk about the priority boarding. I love that scenario.
Yeah, so priority boarding basically sounds exactly what you're thinking. When you go to board that plane and you need that overhead bin space, you got to make sure that you can get in there. And that's basically what we do for applicants from Century 21. I have a team that works with me in terms of onboarding, and we get hundreds of applications per week from agents looking to participate in the program throughout the United States from all different brokerages. The benefit of using that Century 21 unique application link is my team and the person who handles my applications solely Kylie, she will look at all of the applications that came in using that unique link, and she will process those first. So if we have a region where we say we need 5 partner agents to participate there because of customer demand, and we get 5 Century 21 agents, we're done. We will close it down. We will not bring on any more agents. Our goal of the program is not to oversaturate a market with agents. That doesn't benefit anyone. Nobody's going to be closing deals. Everyone's not going to enjoy the program. So if we only need 5, we're only bringing on 5. And like I said, if it ends up being all Century 21, fine by me. We'll go ahead and close it down, and we won't bring anyone else on into that market.
Love it. And that's why everyone who's on this call today, this is why you're here, is because they're moving into a new market. You're hearing it first. Now, obviously, on the other side of the equation, if they don't have enough Century 21 agents, then you're going to go out there and obviously try to, bring agents into the partners program from whatever brokerage. So again, guys, time is of the essence. So, definitely get up onto that Redfin landing page on 21 Online, either download that spreadsheet or click on the link and send that to your agents. I'm a bigger fan, quite frankly, of taking the Excel spreadsheet and sending it on and letting the agent know that they're going to receive a email from Redfin. It just feels a little bit more special from my perspective, but obviously totally up to you. How about any of the other steps here that we have? Did we cover these? I think there's a couple more things that we need to look at, right?
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to confirmation, we'll create that account internally, but that's already been done for Century 21, so we're good to go there. Agreement via DocuSign. So as a broker, as a reload director, you'll receive the agreement for signature, and the agent will receive a copy as well. We'll send them via DocuSign. Once we have that signed, we can go ahead and activate that agent. It's important because if we don't have that signed, they could finish everything, but we can't get them started. So that's an important thing to know. The onboarding process, our onboarding team will handle all of that process. So you don't, as a broker owner, as a reload director, have to manage any of that on your own. We will work with them to get an image, agent statement, license information, all that good stuff. We'll work on our end. We'll get them on board. It usually takes about a week or so, depending how quickly we get the information from the agent. And you don't have to handle any of that. We will get them started. Once they're active, they will start receiving leads.
Game on. That's what quick and easy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So the agent onboarding, let's talk a little bit about that, because there are some things that the agents need to do. Training, photos, surveys, which we'll get into here in a little bit, but run us through what's required from an agent perspective.
Yeah, so training is going to be pretty straightforward. It's a video-based training that they do. It's only about 15 minutes or so, give or take. It's not crazy. Just to give them an overall aspect of what the program is, what the program isn't. So that way they know right away, hey, this is a program I want to participate in, or it isn't. We are completely fine when an agent tells us, hey, I don't think this may be for me. That's not a problem. As long as they communicate that to us, we'll go ahead and close out their application. If they ever want to apply, 2-3 months later down the road or get started again, we have no problem. We can bring them on. And we've done that quite a bit. We'll get an agent who says, I don't know, this isn't really for me. Usually happens around the spring or summer market when they're really busy. Then winter rolls around or fall and they're like, actually, I think I'd like to get started with this program. And they end up participating and they end up doing very well. So we have no problem with that at all. Photos, just basic, just basic JPEG, decent resolution. Don't send us anything from a MySpace account from 20 years ago that's a resolution of 20. We've gotten those before.
Pixelated.
Yeah, we've gotten that. We've gotten PDFs, and it's always interesting when you get those. But yeah, it just has to be a basic JPEG, something off your phone or something decent.
I need to update my MySpace page.
Yeah, exactly. Put your top friends on there.
Exactly. Oh my goodness gracious. Who says you can't have fun with referrals? So this is kind of one of the big components here that let's spend a little bit of time on, and that's the surveys and the deal importer. Let's go ahead and run into this, Jason. I might have some questions for you on it.
Yeah, definitely. So our deal importer, this is one of the things that sometimes becomes a snag in terms of onboarding from brokers or from reload directors and agents, where they'll say, hey, wait a minute. You guys want my customer information or my customer data set? Absolutely not. The deal importer is to basically send surveys to customers just so we can put onto the Redfin website for that agent how their service is. We want to know, do their customers think that they're great? Because that's really what's going to drive that customer contact to that agent. So the agent inputs the information on their own. We don't ask the agent to send us all of their raw data. They will have a deal importer that they will be able to use during onboarding. And if they choose to, while they're active in the program, they just input the email address for the customer, no other information. That's usually generated via the MLS data feed. It will show the address of the property that was sold by the agent. The agent goes in and puts in the information, the email for the customer, and it automatically sends that survey to that customer. They're not, like I said, sending us a raw Excel spreadsheet or anything showing their customer information besides inputting that email address on their own. That survey that you're showing there on the page, that is the exact survey. It's just a couple questions. We use the MPS survey metric, same thing, AT&T and all these huge companies and Apple use when they send you a survey, 0 to 10. And one of the biggest questions that I always get, can we use Real Satisfied? Can we use another third-party integration for surveys? Unfortunately, we can't at this time. It has to be generated via redfin.com. And we will post all of those onto the Redfin website. It's kind of similar to like a Google My Business page for an agent. It will show all of their surveys from customers, all of the great raving reviews. And it's pretty funny because a lot of agents initially, they're a bit hesitant about it, but our top agents of the program who close 15, 20, 25 deals with the leads that we send them, they actually end up continuing to input for surveys on their customers because it drives so many new contacts to their profile page. I always equate it to, if you're new in town and you want to go to a restaurant, you're going to pick the restaurant with 0 reviews, or you're going to pick the restaurant with 250 reviews. I think we all know which one we would choose. And that's really what drives a lot of that customer contact to our website. I also get the question all the time of, how do you guys get so many contacts to your website? Do you do a lot of advertising? We really don't. Besides the last couple of years, we didn't even have lots of TV commercials or billboards or anything like that. It's really just these things, surveys. That's really what customers are looking for. They want to see that 5-star ranking of that agent. And this is what helps them. We don't want to set agents up to fail. We want to set them up for success. And these surveys really set them up for success.
So the Redfin opportunities that an agent would close through the partners program, the agent doesn't have to send those surveys out, right? Those go automatically after they close?
Exactly. If it's somebody that we sent over to them, those will automatically be sent via the system saying, hey, how was your service with Jane Smith as the agent? Did she do a great job? And then we will post that automatically to the site. So as you're closing deals, you're also going to have those that are going to funnel through that you're going to be automatically on the website as well.
Gotcha. But what you are actually seeing are almost agents like they're addicted to the deal importer. So closing deals outside of Redfin, they're putting those new clients in there so that their Yelp profile, if you will, keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the, because it's optional after the onboarding period if you want to continue to input those customer surveys. And like you said, we just see agents continuously doing it. And now we had actually a beta test where we're allowing agents to use that link over onto their website, which is a great because it's basically like a link back to Redfin and back and forth, so they can see that agent's profile and they can say, oh, wow, look, they got all these great reviews, but it's also coming from the agent's website. So it shows that little bit more of credibility of saying, wow, look at this agent's website. It's beautiful. They got great stuff on here, great information. And then it's going to tie them right back to the Redfin website and showing that transparency of all of their surveys as well.
Cool. Yeah, well, I'm going to need to play around. That could be a little best practice. Maybe we do another session for the agents, the 500 something agents that we have, and talk best practices. So I know we have a couple more slides here on how to join the program, and I think we covered a couple of these things here, but let her rip. I know we talked about the listing fees and buyer refunds, so we got that checked off. How about the agent statement or the referral agreement?
Yeah, agent statement's pretty straightforward. Your whole testimony of who you are and how great of an agent you are. You basically send that over to our team. We're going to put that on your profile because your profile will show, Century 21, DBA, whatever office you're with. and your information of where you've closed deals. There's also a map on the agent profile page, so it'll show where your deals were closed on an actual map. Because I know me personally, if you tell me 123 Main Street in some town, I'm going to say, even if it's my town, I have no idea where that is, versus looking at it on a map is really important. The referral agreement, pretty straightforward. It's just going to be Exhibit B that is signed by the agent. Exhibit A is signed by the brokerage. Once we have both of those returned, we can get them on and active. And like I said, listing fees and buyer refunds, not required to match Redfin in any way. Even if a customer says, well, you know what, I don't want to work with a partner agent, I want to work solely with a Redfin agent. My rebuttal to that is always like, it's going to be a while, maybe 6 to 8 months before you can even get connected to an agent. So if you're looking to buy a house next month, it ain't happening with a Redfin agent. They're just too busy at the moment. That's why you were connected to a partner agent.
Hey, I know we talked about time being of the essence as you're expanding into new markets and the priority boarding. There's I believe it's a 2-week window that agents get to complete their profile. Am I still right on that?
Yep. So we give them 2 weeks. The caveat to that is if an agent is actively telling us, hey, I'm really, really busy right now. Can you give me an extra week, an extra 2 weeks? I'm in Mexico for a week. Like, we're not going to say, sorry, you're on vacation. Your application is canceled. We're just going to say, yeah, you communicated to us, no problem. Just let us know when you're ready to go. The issue being, if you take 3-4 weeks to finish something and 4 people get in before you, we might end up sending you that email that says, sorry, it took you 4 weeks, people finished before you. So that's the only thing to understand in that aspect. But yeah, we're completely flexible as long as the agent communicates it with us.
Those are fun conversations to have. I've been on a few of those where an agent's just like, I was on vacation. I'm like, you really got to nail down the importance in terms of completing the application as quickly as possible. And again, from the brokerage side, guys, for you to be able to invite your targeted agents to this as soon as you possibly can, again, either via that sending them the link from 21 Online or the Excel workbook and getting that over to myself and Jason so that we can process it. Wow, we covered a lot of ground and we did it relatively quickly, Jason. I'm excited about that. Just in case you're late to the game here, guys, there's our contact information again. If you do have any questions, feel free to give me a shout or Jason a shout. Happy to answer any of those questions. Again, we have that whole section up on 21 Online. If you go to the search screen, you can click on or type in Redfin, you'll get to the landing page. Or you could go through the business momentum section where we have a lot of different referral programs. Obviously, Redfin, one of our marquee relationships there. So always love working with Jason and the Redfin team. So any final thoughts, Jason, before we call this a day?
Final thoughts is, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me with any questions. You don't have to make assumptions. That's what I'm here for. I've heard pretty much every question that there is, and I'm more than happy to help. If you need any clarification points, because sometimes there can be confusion, and I've had that with brokers where they're like, oh, I didn't sign up because I thought X, Y, and Z. And I say, no, that's not the way that it works at all. Don't worry about that. We can get you started, no problem. And again, whether it's small brokerage, large brokerage, we love working with any Century 21 office, and we have opportunities for all of them. And like you said, time is of the essence, just because we want to make sure that a lot of these new regions are new for Redfin. So we want to make sure that we get these Century 21 agents in there. And inevitably, the more agents that you have from one office in a region, the better your opportunities are. If you have 10 or 12 agents from your office, and even if we do have 2 or 3 agents from a different office in that same market, you're still going to grab a high percentage of the leads that are coming through because you're just dominating that market with agent count. And we've seen it happen time and time again where we'll set up a brokerage and within 30 days, we have deals under contract. So, you don't have to worry that these leads are going to be long-term closes either, where you're going to sign up and you're not going to get a deal closed for 6 or 9 months. That could happen, not very common. I usually see things under contract within 60 days on average, sometimes as quickly as 30 days, but within 60 or 90 days, you should be seeing things under contract with some of your agents.
I love 30 or 60-day closings.
Yeah, it's good stuff. We love it, and like I said, that's in big markets, small markets. And like I said, sometimes the smaller markets, the smaller cities, they do exceptionally well.
That brings up a really good point. And I remember when we were doing one of these calls a while back, we used an example where if there's somebody searching to buy a home in a very rural area, they are searching there for a reason. They're probably not kicking the tires on, again, Deep Woods, Connecticut. So they're going there for a reason versus if it's one of the larger metropolitan areas, who knows? Maybe they're looking at Atlanta, they're looking in Dallas, they're looking Orlando. You never know. But yeah, those more rural locations, that was spot on. They're looking for a reason.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that, on the Redfin website, a lot of our customer base tends to be, fairly strong in terms of buying power. So that's another question that I always get. Oh, are your leads pre-approved or pre-qualified? And the answer is no. We want that customer to have that conversation with the agent that they are working with. We feel that it is a better metric and you get more volume in terms of lead flow that will come over to you. If we put all those barriers of entry to a customer and we make them answer 15 questions before they get connected to an agent, they're just going to go on to another website. They're going to go on to Zillow, they're going to go on to Realtor, and they're going to get connected with somebody quicker. So we have a nice balance. Sometimes they'll be talking to our inside sales team, and our inside sales team will ask them some probing questions and questions of that nature. So it's a combination. You get some warm leads, some cooler. But we tried both, and we even had negative feedback from brokers when we started asking more questions that they said, hey, the lead volume went down. We want the leads. We want to convert them. That's what we're good at. And we're getting better metrics in that sense. And we've been doing it this way for years, and we get a very good yield from it. So that's one thing to keep in mind too, that these customers are going to be, they're going to be qualified. Once you qualify them to purchase, they're going to be ready to go. And a lot of them are actually relocating to a new market, like Colin said, where, they are in California and they're looking to move to Birmingham, or they're looking to move to Atlanta, and they're looking to move to all of these different markets. So that's another thing to really keep in mind, that a lot of these customers are highly qualified. They just don't know what the process is. And I can tell you, because I was actually an agent out in the field for Redfin, and most of the customers that I spoke with were first-time buyers, and they're highly qualified. They just didn't know the process. Once the agent told them, oh, this is great, that customer ends up closing. So, lots of opportunities, and that's the biggest thing that we want to get into partner agents' hands, in 2022 and all the years coming.
Amen to that. And yeah, to your point earlier, the market's been crazy the last several years, and who knows what the future holds. So it's great that we have this relationship. We were joking around the other day about it's great to be in the world of referrals right now. So we'll let the good times keep on rolling. Guys, thanks for joining us here today. Take advantage while it's hot. Feel free to reach out to either myself or Jason if you have additional questions. Check out that link up on 21 Online, and you'll have all the directions on how to get your qualified agents lined up for the program. So with that being said, Mr. Polanco, thank you again for joining me here today, and I'm sure we'll be doing this again sometime soon.
Yes, sir. Always a pleasure.
Have a great one.